Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Great to be here.
Great to have you. We are honored today to have with us Kristen Vosmaer, President at Salute Mission Critical, who's you're a luminary in the field. I mean, you are an influencer, and that's why you're here today. And I am enthralled always to hear stories and your story, and our audience certainly wants to hear your story. How did you get to where you are today? I know some of it, but not all of it. So to start, it would be fantastic to hear for the audience, and we're here at the Kohler Data Center's Power Down event, a collaboration and sharing and knowledge leadership event where we bring together the best and the brightest in the field, and we'd hear stories and hear about success and how to do it. So this fits in perfectly. So if you could, walk us through that abridged version of how you got to where you are today.
Sure, the nickel tour of me. Well, thank you first for the gracious words and hosting us here. My journey really came from the people side of the business in the data center industry. So recruitment, workforce development, building up teams. I studied industrial psychology in college and has always been interested in team building, culture, ergonomics, those kind of principles and how they apply into business. I kind of lucked into the data center world when I was doing work in healthcare and pharmaceuticals and under the moniker critical facility. And somebody said, "Oh, critical facility, you must be working in data centers."
Of course, yes, I am.
Of course I'm working in data centers. And but that was right in 2007, 2008. The markets collapsed, but everybody had an iPhone, and everybody was using digital data more and more and more, and that's obviously continued and will continue decades from now. And so we rose in that crest of data center development, and they started building these monolithic data centers in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and Lenoir, South Carolina, and in the middle of Oklahoma, and in places where you don't have the traditional staff for those data centers. And so how do you build a team that can service a 7x24 5/9 data center with all of the competency that you need, but you don't have the talent locally to draw in from there? Those are the kind of problems that I worked on.
And in fact, for the sake of our audience, that's how we first met back in the recruiting days when I was at Microsoft.
Right.
We had a discussion. That's right.
Yeah. So that's that dynamic still exists now. As data centers keep getting built, there's still a shortage of people. The founders of Salute Mission Critical that I'm honored to be a part of, Lee Kirby, Jason Oakroy, they had a vision to say there's a shortage of talent in the workforce, but there's also a social problem of men and women coming back from tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, and not having a great conduit into the working world, into the civilian sector. And it's not the Navy nukes that had that issue. Navy nukes tend to get absorbed by the energy companies, by data center companies, et cetera.
Best in the business, right?
It's infantry men and women. It's the military police on the ground. It's logistics support. And how do you leverage the millions of dollars that the military spends on training them and putting structure around them and developing habits and team collaboration frameworks? How do you leverage that into the data center space? And Salute is working every day to answer that question and to build that bridge stronger. And so we started as a cleaning company. They are adept at working in hazardous situations. They know how to be mindful of their surroundings. They know how to follow methods of procedures well. And we've bridged that to say, okay, what else can they do in a data center? And it's developed to a point where anything that's blue collar in a data center, Salute touches in one way, shape, or form, from cleaning to battery maintenance to filter changes to electrical, mechanical facility engineers to network operations centers to physical security on sites, rounds, readings. We do racking, stacking, white space fit out, containment, and all of those scopes have a lot of interaction points to them on how a data center works as a whole. And so what we try and do is say, okay, in what we term multi-skilled operators, if you can come in and perform on a cleaning scope or perform on a racking and stacking, you are probably physically capable and technically capable to do a filter change, to start up a generator, to do all of these different scopes. And the more you learn, the more you have a big picture view of what happens in a data center. And we take that a couple of steps further in our full facility operations model as well that we do for companies where, we are operating every facet within a data center, but we come at it from a workforce development perspective and a human perspective. And so that's ultimately the goal of Salute, is to continue to build teams in major markets, in second tier, third tier markets. Internationally, we're in Europe and South America as well, and continue to build a model where we give our clients flexibility, we give our clients burstability to get on the scene quickly, to expand our services in a rapid manner without having fixed headcount, and do it in a way that grows the knowledge and careers of the men and women in those roles. And eventually they feed on to our clients as they have hiring needs, because now they've been trained in that culture.
Yeah, great summary, and that's frankly why I've used Salute for many years now at many different companies for many different things, and that's why our partnership, Salute and Kohler Data Centers, it's fundamentally about the people, and you bring the best people into these roles, and they grow and flourish and just perform. So, great job, Salute in general. You and Lee and Jason, all the things you've done for that community. It's really fantastic, and it's been. I've been tickled to watch it grow. I still recall a conversation with Lee on a hunting trip, the pig trip in Texas years ago, when the company was literally, probably 3, 4, 5 people at that point in time. And now look, how many folks are you worldwide now?
We are just over 450 technicians.
Yeah, incredible. Congrats. That's great.
Thank you. Yeah. No, and you're right. Partnerships like what we're doing with Kohler, we think will transform the way the industry thinks about it, not even just from an FO perspective, but from a maintenance perspective, from a deployment and commissioning perspective. We're working with Kohler to build a team of mission multi-skilled operators that help you deploy for new projects, whether it's containers, generators on site, help work through commissioning and that process on site, providing resources that are trained. Those resources are going to have some idle time on those projects. We can utilize them in other ways. They can help ensure that the equipment is clean and safe for those that are commissioning. They can help train the operating teams locally on how to start up a generator or what to look for, what are best practices in there. And so these multi-skilled technicians will come in with the knowledge that Kohler is infusing in on their product and best practices. They're able to take that to different markets like Phoenix or Montreal or Bilbao, and be able to impart that same consistent framework that you're looking for so that your generators perform optimally. We can be the tip of the spear of that. So it's a great partnership, and I think as more and more OEMs like the Schneider Electrics, the more we talk about that as a symbiotic and combined effort to understand how we can scale responsibly together and everyone does their own part, I think there's a great methodology to add people to the industry that are true next generation leaders, because they're seeing it from multiple points. I think they will also give us the opportunity to do more with less resources, because at the end of the day, we're still competing for talent with different industries. So.
And switching gears a little bit as we wind down, what about Kristen, the person? How do the different steps along this journey, this path to get you to where you are today in Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Well, fun fact, I live in Milwaukee, but was born in Holland. And really my journey with Salute, while I knew the founders from the beginning, started in 2016. And they had received a contract from EdgeConneX to build an operations team in Amsterdam. Being able to speak, read, write Dutch, carry a Dutch passport, that has some benefits to it. And so they tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to help out with that. And so, from being a very hands-on part of building the staff and the teams, it's my role personally has gone to more operations management, general management, business management, and helping to in some cases design what the customer experience is with us. We talk a lot about the Disney feel of what we want to do, and the flexibility and the possibilities that our clients can realize because of our services. But also work day to day with our leaders in the teams to say, what does culture need to look like? How do we translate this for entry-level men and women coming into Salute? How do we orchestrate an experience that they are going to emotionally connect to? EQ is a big thing for us, and the technical outputs are important. Certainly safety is second to nothing, but all of that is achievable by having good culture, by having a very good handle on how teams are motivated, how they cooperate together, what's the structure. Well, we talk about freedom within a framework, and that's different in North America than Canada, than South America, than Europe. Every country, every location has their own locality that you have to deal with. So personally, as somebody coming from the educational background, I'm in Disneyland myself. I get to work on all of these microculture dynamics and help pull that together to the bigger picture, while still thriving locally and building careers locally. And one of the stats that we're so proud of is in the first quarter of this year, we haven't released the Q2 stats yet. We transitioned 12 people from our books to our clients in career elevating positions. The service companies typically don't talk about it in that because they need those technicians for billable hours. And we look at it as it's our value add to the industry to keep putting more and more talented people into the industry. Even if you don't know where that talent necessarily comes from or how it relates, we're the ones that can help unlock that.
What a success story. Thank you for sharing that, and thanks for sharing all of your knowledge. I will toast to you and Salute and your career. Thank you, sir, for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure with our friendship and our partnership.
Cheers.
Cheers.